Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the best weekend in sports of the whole year. We got a big episode tonight talking about the Ryder Cup and a little bit of football because there's some big ones out there. But first, let's introduce ourselves. My name's Scott. With me is,
My name's Deeb.
and we're going to get started right now.
Pat McAfee said today we got our guy.
How many sixth graders would it take to beat LeBron James in a game? Ready for the ultimate sleepers?
Shador Sanders went number 144 in the draft.
Yo. Welcome back. Episode 37 of the Single Barrel Sports Podcast. We got a big one, Scott. Ryder Cup special. We got some special guests who are back. I want to say for a third or fourth time, I think, for some of you guys out here. So Trent and Andrew, welcome back, guys. How are things going? Maybe we'll start with Trent and then we can go over to Andrew. What's going on, guys?
Pleasure to be back. Just got back from our seasonal golf trip with my fellow Single Barrel and Deeb. Just been chilling. Other than that, happy to be back. Talk some sports.
Sweet. What's going on with you, Andrew?
Nothing much. Also, I was on a golf trip last week in Florida, down at Stream Song, rocking the hat. Amazing time out there. Really good golf. And now I get to hopefully watch some really good golf this weekend. So looking forward to it.
Thanks. So everyone was on a golf trip this weekend but Scott.
Listen, man.
Awkward.
Listen, I was on my couch. I had a virus. I think I had a cold, but it's fine because my voice is back just in time.
Well, hell yeah. I'm super excited to have both you guys on and, to be back. I know I was gone last week traveling for work, but Scott, what's going on with you, man?
Well, first, just Deeb, welcome back. We missed you last week. We had a great football talk, but I want to just kind of shout out Andrew and Trent here. If anyone listening has missed our previous golf videos with one or both of them on, they're highly informative. And so if you don't know a lot about the Ryder Cup or maybe have never watched it before, if you don't think that golf is your thing, just listen to this. You might actually really learn some things and enjoy this. But yeah, other than that, Deeb, we're just putting one foot in front of the other here. Had a big fantasy football win this weekend as of Monday Night Football game. And we're just taking it a day at a time because life sure is busy, but enjoying every free moment that we have, and the sports have been plentiful. So loving that. How about you?
Doing pretty well. As Trent mentioned, we were on a golf trip, so can't complain. We played up north in Traverse City. We got to play 3 courses and stay at a really cool resort. One of the courses was actually a Jack Nicklaus course called the Bear, one of the tougher courses in all of Michigan. So it was definitely tough. We played it on Sunday as a scramble after everyone had a few drinks the day before, a little too many,
most
right,
of our
Trent?
group being incapacitated till 2 a.m. when we had an 8 a.m. Sunday morning tea time. Yeah, that was fantastic.
Yeah,
Saw that coming from a mile away.
three out of I did not go out for the record, and I also did not play well somehow, but 3 of my teammates all went out, and that's who Trent's referring to. But we definitely had a blast. But no, other than that, man, I'm excited. I think before we get into the golf part, and we just want to let people know that you can find everything for our platform at singlebarrelsports.com. If you are looking for merch, we see most of us out here have a hat. We'll have to get Andrew on the train. I know he's
I'll be on it soon.
He's
Next
feeling it,
time.
but he's got a cool hat from where he was golfing, so that's fair.
Right.
But we do have a merch store, and then full episodes are on YouTube and Spotify, and you can check out a bunch of our content on a bunch of different social media platforms. So, y'all ready?
I'm excited. Yes.
Let's go.
All right. So we're going to start out with what we usually start out with, the sports term of the week. All right, gentlemen. We're going to test you right away here. And this is something that I was not familiar with. So I'm going to throw this out there. No cheating. You can't look it up ahead of time. Don't look at the information. But has anyone in here heard of the retains rule? This has to do with Ryder Cup, by the way.
Let me just preface. I know you guys know this from our chat right before we started. For those listening, I have never watched a Ryder Cup in my life. If you've been following along, I was on quite the golf journey this year, so I've learned a lot. but this will be my first Ryder Cup, and I have no idea what this is. So sounds like Andrew does. Maybe we kick it over to him and he can explain.
Yeah, what do you
Absolutely.
think?
Absolutely. So there's throughout this weekend there'll be a certain number of points. I think it's around it's 28 points, and then to win either Europe, or United States, needs 14 and a half. So if it's a tie, if it's split 14-14, whoever won it last year does keep it. And I believe that has happened in the past 30 years. I think it was a tie and Europe won before, so Europe got to keep it. So it's really that if you are approaching the Ryder Cup, you got to beat the other team. You can't just tie the other team, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, ding, ding, ding. You are correct, Andrew. One of the questions that I was curious about, when I read through this and I was looking up is why is that the case? Because it's kind of like random, like why is it an actual rule for the Ryder Cup? But what I found, and it really does make sense, I guess, once you start to think about it, is it's basically, when you think about match play golf, which we'll talk a little bit more about what happens in Ryder Cup. That's basically the tradition in match play that the challenger has to beat the holder in order to take the match or the trophy. Think of it kind of like boxing or maybe even UFC. I think they have the same format of if you're the champion in boxing, if you have a draw, you keep the belt. So it's kind of that same concept, which I thought was really interesting. But it does generally speaking make sense when you think about the format. And yeah, you're right, Andrew. It sounds like has happened two different times. One time in 1969 and one time in 1989. The 69 one was kind of interesting because it was Jack Nicklaus and he conceded a putt. So it made a tie for the U.S. to retain. And then the
Hmm.
other one was a Europe win. So
Hmm.
we've seen a little bit of both happen here.
Yeah, and actually, another fun fact about that is there's the President's Cup, which is where it's the United States versus the world outside of Europe. And if they end in a tie, they just end in a tie and they share the cup. So the Ryder Cup is
Oh,
specifically the only one that there is no tie, which I think is very European, right? Um, so yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
It is an interesting
Um,
thing as someone who, again, is kind of new to this. In all of our events throughout the year, there's like a playoff to settle the ties, and in this one, it's just whoever won last year wins. So
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
agree. It's kind of like you said, like you watch a UFC fight and it goes to decision and they tie in the end. It's like, well, okay, um, nope, you got to actually beat the champion to get the championship. So that's kind of a unique, fun thing about this, I guess.
yeah, definitely. So that's the sports term of the week. Pretty simple. We're going to actually move into a little bit more depth now. So we'll get a little deeper as we go in terms of history, background, format, that sort of thing. So we're going to tell you a little bit about what is the Ryder Cup, where did it start, what makes it different, what is the team composition, and talk about the scoring. I know, Andrew, you just kind of gave a high level about the scoring, but gentlemen, the Ryder Cup actually began in 1927. Was anyone around in 1927 from this group? I don't think so. Looking at
Good
all the
question.
So it's a long time, and it was originally the U.S. and Great Britain. So it technically wasn't all of Europe; it was just Great Britain. It didn't actually expand or go into all of Europe until 1979. So a little more recent. Still don't think anyone in here was born by then. But that really, I think, changed the format. It changed just in general the meaning. There was a lot more, players I think involved compared to just U.S. versus Great Britain. But you guys know who it's named after? If you had to take a guess, does anybody have an idea of who they think it's named after?
Absolutely not.
No clue.
So Samuel Ryder kind of makes sense, right? When you think about it, Ryder Cup, Samuel Ryder. You guys know who Samuel Ryder is? Has anyone ever heard of him?
It's got to be Sam Ryder's like great 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 grandfather or something.
That's it. That's it. Got to be.
I don't know if there's any relation, so we'll have to fact check that. But I did have to look this up because I had no idea. But he is an English businessman, an entrepreneur, and a golf enthusiast. He was also a golf promoter. So basically, when he was like in his 50s, and this guy was he was he lived like from 1850 to like 1936 or something. So it's obviously a while ago. But when he was in his 50s, he became a huge enthusiast. He loved golf. He wanted to, start something up. And so basically, he had this idea of a match between the British and the Americans. And so it was a proposal that he put together, and he made it happen in 1927. So that's who Samuel Ryder is. Kind of random, but I always like to try to look up like where did this actually come from and why is it named after this guy? So he's the godfather of the Ryder Cup. Moving on. So let's talk about what makes the Ryder Cup different. So there's people out there. I know, Scott, you had mentioned this. This is actually one that I'm not as familiar with either. So, Trent and Andrew, feel free to chime in. But um, it's the main thing is a team atmosphere, right? So when you think of golf, when you think of PGA Tour, you think of individual sport, right? Everybody's out there trying to play to win themselves, but Ryder Cup is a team golf event. So, you guys want to talk a little bit about the team aspect and what your thoughts are in general? Like, do you have a preference? Do you guys feel like team golf is better, worse, different? Like, what are your guys' thoughts on the team golf aspect here?
Trent, want to go ahead?
Yeah, for me, I've always loved watching both like the Ryder Cup and the President's Cup. I think it's like it brings a little more of an entertainment side to the PGA Tour and like golf in general, which I like. You get guys like getting a lot more excited for each other, like firing up. If you're in the U.S., the Americans get the home crowd going. Same with Europe. It's like it brings the audience more into the sport, which I think is great. But as far as like, I think I would personally like, I love when it's straight up head to head final day. I think that's my favorite portion. I'm not huge on like the doubles and stuff, but that final day when what is it, 16 guys total,
Mm-hmm.
playing solo match play. I mean, for basically all the marbles, there's nothing better. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Yeah. What do you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, team golf's been a thing recently with live golf, and no one cares about that, or I don't care about that. To clarify, because they try to create that energy with all the music being played and all of that, and trying to create a team atmosphere, which it really isn't. But this is so much different, just because of the environment that you're in. You go from, if you're playing at home like the United States this year, you're going to have so much support. You're going to have too much support, versus every single backswing you take as a European, you're going to have a noise being made. Like the first tee, we'll talk about the first tee box later, but it's wild. And I actually like the we're going to talk about setup earlier, but I like the partners for the first 2 days, because it's really important when the captain picks, which we'll get to in a minute, about who you're going to pick and why some of these people have been picked, because they know that they're good teammates with another player. And I think that yes, the last day is very important because the number of points that are available, but the first 2 days, you really get to see how a team works. And it gets to be really, really interesting, which I really, really like. Of course, I think the Ryder Cup's way better than the President's Cup, just because of the history and because of how much we hate each other, or at least how much the fans hate each other. The players, by the end of it, are all best friends. But the President's Cup is not quite as much as that, and it's just been United States domination for a while on that side. So
yeah. And there's more, when you talk about team golf, there's more strategy, right? Like you said, the pairings. It makes you feel like you're part of your tribe, right? Like you're representing your country. It's almost like it kind of has like, it reminds me of like the World Cup, right? Like a World Cup, you go back and you play for your country and you have that pride. And that kind of, I think that brings out, something interesting for the players and the fans. But one thing that is also interesting is historically, and we're going to talk about this, that there's a change this year. This has not been about money. So there has not been, the players, from my understanding, have not been paid, or there's no prize, etc. It's basically for pride and legacy. Is that kind of what your guys' understanding about this as well for historically?
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
pride for sure.
Scott, what do you think about the team aspect and also players in the past not getting paid? We're going to talk about this year because it's a little bit different, but what are your general thoughts?
Well, excuse me. I think that first of all, my first thought goes to Happy Gilmore too, and I've made that joke a couple of times, but I've never seen team golf other than that. And the movie, at first, I was like, "Well, how are they going to play as a team?" And then I realized that they were kind of doing some sort of a knockoff of the Ryder Cup, like halfway through the movie. Um, so yeah, I think it will be really fun to kind of see how the golfers interact with one another. You know, normally when you're paired with someone, it's because you're close to them in the standings and competing against them. And I feel like it'll be fun to see them kind of interacting while they're on the same side of things. As far as the money goes, I think it makes a lot of sense to have an event, especially that's only every other year, that is just purely for the pride. You know, for putting your nation on your back and trying to go out and get the W. So, um, yeah, the take or leave the money. I think this event is a lot bigger than the cash.
And so new this year, the United States team apparently is going to have each of the 12 players and the captain receive $500,000. They have a charity donation, so 300,000 of that 500,000 must be donated to a charity that's chosen by the player, and the remaining $200,000 is a stipend, essentially for the player to use as they wish. But guess what? The European team will continue to be unpaid in 2025. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this first controversy?
Yeah, I can actually get some history to it because it happened, I think, shortly after last year's Ryder Cup, which there was a lot of drama with Patrick Cantlay 2 years ago with his hat debacle, where he did not wear a hat and he blamed it on, or the public blamed it on sponsorships that he wanted to get paid for being in the Ryder Cup, and he would not wear the gear. Uh, but he's openly said that has nothing to do with it. The hat didn't fit him, and he wasn't going to play in a hat that didn't fit him. And then it just became a whole thing. And then there was a fight on the 18th green, all this kind of stuff between Rory and Patrick Cantlay's caddy. So a lot of really cool stuff, which we normally don't see. I'm hoping we get some of that this year. But I mean, I don't even know why they did this. I mean, it's what $300,000 of it, or 200 is for them, and then the rest is for charity. I think it's great we're donating to charity, but $200,000 for these players is like nothing. So it just creates more heat for the European team to talk trash about us and rally behind that to beat us, which I think is pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott or Trent, you guys have any thoughts on the payment?
No, I think I'm kind of on point with Andrew. Like, what, 200,000 to these guys? That's like $200 to us. Like, what's the
Yeah.
point?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Do they just pocket this 200K, or is it still intended to be used for the greater good for something? Because like they could take it back to like maybe their local clubs or local communities, or sponsor some golfers for events. You know, they can do some cool stuff with that money if that's what they choose to do. But if it's just for them to keep, like you guys said, it's a drop in the bucket. Why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I also think it's really convenient they did that before the American Ryder Cup, not the European. Because if we were going to the European Ryder Cup, that's all you would see all day long is like checks being flown in the sky and all this crazy stuff. Yeah, very
Signs.
convenient. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I saw some of that actually at a college football game when Johnny Manziel visited. So, yep, I get that.
Wow. All right, let's talk about the team compositions. So, generally speaking, each team has 12 players. The roster is a blend of 6 automatic qualifiers that are based on rankings and points that are earned throughout the year, the PGA Tour year. And then there are captain's picks who the captain gets to choose strategically, based on, as kind of Andrew had mentioned, chemistry, form, experience. Maybe they want somebody that's going to fire the boys up. There's probably a lot of different things that go into it. But generally speaking, as we look through the roster, we have Team USA, which their captain is Keegan Bradley this year. There's a whole host of vice captains that I won't go into. You had the 6 auto players were Scotty Scheffler, J.J. Spawn, Xander Schauffele, Russell Henley, and Harris English, and Bryson, excuse me. And then the other 6 captains picks were Justin Thomas, Morikawa, Ben Griffin, Cam Young, Patrick Cantlay, Sam Burns. So what are your guys' initial thoughts on the team for USA? Let's start there.
I think there is a lot of guys I like and only a few that I would probably change.
Like who?
Overall, I think I I really would have liked to see Keegan play, but that's just me. But I don't know. I feel like Sam Burns was a must solely because of the putter. Um, I just don't know how well Morikawa sets up for this course. I probably would have to ask him for someone else. Don't know right now who that would be, but those are, I don't know. I'm satisfied overall though. I think he went like 10 for 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. And Andrew, I know you're a big Keegan Bradley fan, so what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on the
Boston
roster?
sports through and through. Um, I, it's very weird. I have a total opposite opinion of Trent. I think Sam shouldn't be on the team. Um, because I felt like he was also added. He was the one that got added 2 years ago, and Keegan got cut, which is very interesting. And he was the only one because 2 years ago it was all about the boys club. Spieth and Justin Thomas were put in on the team by Zach Johnson, and Keegan was left out. And now there's not really a boys club anymore, right? Spieth could have been on this team. Spieth could have been, because Spieth and Justin Thomas are the best group together, outside of maybe like Phil back in the day. Phil with Keegan was a really good partnership. But and then I'm worried about Ben Griffin. I mean, the all the United States players played in a tournament 2 weeks ago in California, because Keegan was an acting captain. He was just walking around telling his players like acting like a captain. And then it was a playoff between Ben Griffin and Scotty Scheffler, and I think Ben like 3-putted on the last hole to lose the whole tournament. So I'm worried about him and his putting, and also being under pressure, because he's performed really well in standard tournaments, but majors, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think he hasn't won a major, right, this year. So that one I'm worried about. But who would you replace him with? I mean, Brooks would be very interesting. It's Brooks just, if he was playing the PGA Tour, he probably would have auto qualified. And then, yeah, Keegan himself. But that's the whole thing, right? Everyone thinks Keegan should be playing, but I don't think Keegan should play and be captain, right? I think if he were to play, he'd have to give up his captainship. And the vice captains, I know we didn't really talk about too much, but there's not a huge name there who has experience besides like Jim Furyk. So like, I think it would have been really cool if Keegan played and then Tiger came out of the background and said, "All right, I'm captain." That would have been amazing. I mean, that would have buried Europe. I mean, we would be way more favorites if that happened. If Tiger was the captain in America, but maybe they're just saving Tiger to go in Europe. So we'll see.
Who knows if they'd even show up if they heard that news?
Yeah. If they heard that, they would just, all right, we'll ship it off. Wait till next year. That's right. Exactly.
Well, let me ask a question here, because obviously, it doesn't really matter where you end up to be a captain's pick. And when you talk about people that maybe you would have thrown in instead. Now, I'm just looking at the FedEx Cup points here. I know that doesn't tell the whole story because, guys like Bryson aren't even on that list really, but like Andrew Novak is a name that no one's really mentioned. Like, how would he have fit on this team? Because he, by all accounts, he's higher than several of the people that are on the team, at least in the FedEx rankings.
Yeah, that's a name you could throw around. Definitely had a good season. I think one of the fan favorites down the stretch was everyone was like picketing for Chris Goddard because
I was
that hot streak. Yeah, I mean, there's just like there's a lot of newer faces, I guess, and some old, like, I don't know, like everyone seems to hate Cantlay so much. That's a guy I don't think That's a guy I would pick. Personally, I don't know.
Yeah.
People have so many different opinions on golfers. It's very hard to be like, oh, this guy's actually the best fit. But it's like, if you don't like him, it's like, who would you replace him with? And that's always the question when it comes down to these tournaments. Is like, do you take the guys who have the experience, or do you take the new blood that's up and coming and risk another Ryder Cup? So
Nobody wanted Brian Harmon.
Yeah,
Fuck
let's say
no.
same. Tony Finau.
He takes too long.
Finau.
Brian
I
Harmon
know you
takes
guys
too
hate
long.
Harmon.
I can't watch another Harmon waggle.
We should just put Brian Harmon and Cantlay in the same group.
Yeah.
It would be like
my.
4 hours behind. I mean, geez.
The
I
Ranger
mean,
would
make
be
coverage go for a while. Yeah. Yeah.
the Ranger would be on both their asses. Come on, boys. Some other names that I looked at, I did look at Goddard and Harmon. Wyndham Clark, I don't know. He's hot and cold. Batia, the young gun. I mean, he can, if he
He's
plays
not ready
well.
yet.
Yeah, he's
Not
too
ready yet.
inconsistent to go. I think in that stage, the stakes are too high for his inconsistencies.
Yep. The other one I think was Michael Kim, who I think also had not like a great year, but he had
He
flashes
just won,
here
didn't
and
he?
there.
He won this last week, I think. Maybe. But yeah.
I'm not sure. Oh, Maverick McNeely, another young guy that
was another one really getting
Yeah.
thrown around.
yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't make it. He was ranked way higher than a lot of these guys in the FedEx Cup anyway.
I think
Yeah.
it was kind of between like McNeely and Burns and somebody else probably for that last spot.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yep.
All right, let's go over Team Europe real quick and get some takes. So, Captain Luke Donald, veteran. Same thing, vice captains, a lot of random people. And then the auto picks were Rory, Robert McIntyre, Tommy Fleetwood, Justin Rose, and Rasmus Højgaard and Tyrrell Hatton. Captain's picks were Shane Lowry, Sepp Straka, Ludwig Oberg, Victor Hovland, Matt Fitzpatrick, and John Rahm. Thoughts on Team Europe?
Sexy team, man. I as a guy who's only watched golf for a year, when I looked at these two rosters, I was just like, damn, that's a good lineup right there. And even Raven, because she watches with me, but she only sees like the top 10 on the leaderboard when we're watching golf on TV. She was like, well, these are all the guys I'm used to watching on Sundays.
Yeah. Go and put your European flag on. I mean, come on now. What's going on here? I mean, this is a United States podcast.
Yeah.
We're gonna go viral in Europe.
I'm trying to expand the audience.
That's right. That's right. Get those early morning views. No, I mean, I think Luke Donald had the easiest job in the world. I could go look at it again. I think it's the exact same team, except you replace one Højgaard brother for the other Højgaard brother, I believe, from last year or from 2 years ago. Which, if you win, and then you get to be the captain again because he was a captain 2 years ago, and then you just choose the same team, you don't get questioned like Keegan would get questioned if we lose this. He's got it easy. I mean,
yeah.
I was looking up the snubs. The only one I even recognize is Thomas Dietrich is the only snub, and then the other Højgaard brother, and then Sergio Garcia. But I mean, I don't think you would put in Sergio right now. So I think they are a stout team, and you just look at the team, and you like I feel like I could pick the partners from this team. Like America, I know some that we're going to team up, but I mean, you got best friends, Shane Lowry, Rory McIlroy, and they've proven winners. I mean, it's just go down the line. You can pick exactly who would partner up, and you have experience from last year because these are all the same guys from 2 years ago. Yeah.
Do you think Fleetwood has a new swagger now that he finally got a win?
Oh, absolutely.
He's still
Trent
the
doesn't
same
agree.
old Tommy. I don't think he never really lost his swagger. I love Tommy. I won't bash him.
That's
I
fair.
love him. He's always just been a good golfer that couldn't get it done, and he finally got it done. That's it. Plain and simple. It's like breaking the seal, Might spiral out of control now, but
Yeah, I think the biggest thing if you compare America to Europe is just the strength of their captain's picks. I mean, they're auto picks, but like, I mean, John Rahm is your last captain pick. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, Victor Hovland plays out of his mind in match play. I mean, in 2 years ago, he played out of his mind. He like swept Scotty Scheffler in 2 different matches. in Europe last year. But we're America. We're going to win. So I'm going to get
Hey,
right back on that train. I don't need to be wearing the wrong hat here.
welcome to New York. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Oh man.
And
So
correct me if I'm wrong, though. So I want to hear your opinion on this. Are you as concerned going into this, like compared to 2023? Like, I think we have. I mean, Oberg's young. I think he had some ups and downs this year. I'm not so much him, but Hovland, the last Ryder Cup, I believe, was coming off his best season on the PGA Tour. Won the FedEx Cup, if I'm not mistaken, in 2023. Are you as scared of them now as you were then?
Deeb, what do you think first?
I mean, it's weird, right? Because like, okay, Rory won the Masters, but I mean, he didn't like. I mean, I'm not saying he did bad this year, but I mean, that was like his highlight moment, right? And then I feel like he was just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna coast
He had
for
3
for the
wins this
year.
year. It's not like that was his only win. He had 3 wins.
Yeah,
Well,
but I
he
think I
coasted.
think it, I think his season started out on the high. So I don't think
100%.
recently he hasn't been, like scary good
Yeah.
as compared to the beginning. Fleetwood, yeah, I would argue yes, like he's hot right now. Justin Rose is just always, what he's like a veteran, so he's going to be there. I mean, Lowry had a reasonable year, but again, he's kind of up and down. I mean, I'm not saying he did bad, but Substraka, I think, had a good year compared to in the past. Hovland didn't really have a crazy good year. I mean, he was down, like Trent said. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if
Fitzpatrick
we're
had
talking,
a down year too.
yeah, if we're talking form, I don't know that they're as scary as 2 years ago. I think they have
Yeah,
a lot of talent. Like they could do really well, obviously, but I don't think the form is as scary as 2 years ago.
yeah. My biggest thing is like I see that team. I know every one of those players is individually insane. Like I hate that list, but I feel like if you were to like simulate it right now, I would say we probably have like more guys playing higher quality golf than they do. That's how I think. But I was just curious
Yeah.
what your guys' thoughts on that were.
No, my last point I'll say is I just am really scared if after the first day we are down.
Yes.
If we're down after day one, by more than a point or a point and a half, the amount of media focus on that Europe's just going to repeat what they did in 2023, that there's no way America has a chance with their backs against the wall. That's just going to be tough. But like I think that they're better partner golf team, Europe is, and we're better individual golfing team, which can go all the way back to European golf and like high school and things like that.
Yeah.
Because in high school they play match play, they don't play stroke play. Like they play team golf throughout their high school career and into college and things like that. America doesn't do that, so that's always been the reason why Europe's dominated us lately. That's where they go back to, is all the way back to that, which is wild.
Yeah.
So
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
But that does kind of make general sense of, they're more used to that style.
Yeah.
The one thing, that we don't have just because of the time of the recording this podcast is the pairings. So just kind of, as I think people have mentioned, that there are going to be pairings. So Friday's pairings, I believe, are announced the Thursday opening ceremony. And then the Friday, Saturday afternoon pairings will be released about an hour before they start. Saturday, Sunday single pairings will also be released the preceding evenings, excuse me. So we can't really go into a lot about the matchups right now. So that's just going to be something that people look out for. But just as FYI, they will be released later in the week as we get closer. You guys want to talk a little bit about the format and the structure? So I'll kind of lead off here and then I'll let you guys jump in. But so Ryder Cup is played over 3 days. It's a Friday, Saturday, and a Sunday. And there's 28 total matches. There are a couple of different types of matches. So I don't know if Andrew or Trent, one of you guys want to talk about the different types of matches. But what are those different types that we're going to see this coming weekend?
I'll let you take the reins here, Andrew, if you'd like.
Yeah. So on Friday, there's foursomes, which is where two teams will share one ball, where they will alternate shots. So one player will drive, then the next with the second shot, and move on and on. And that's big for chemistry. Just in general, when I play alternate shot, I have one guy I play really well with because I'm really good off the tee. He's really good with irons. So that's very important to kind of match those up together. And then there's, and I think that's in the morning. And then in the evening, they'll do, on Friday, they'll do 4-ball, which is each golfer plays their own ball. So they play the hole through. And then each, like the individual best score will count for that hole. It's also known as best ball. A lot of people play best ball. But so typically you'll have your players be a little more aggressive on that, just because a birdie will win a hole. So you'll see a lot more partners like bogey and then birdie. Rarely do you get like back-to-back birdies with the same partner, which is good. That's the way you want to do it. But to go back to the pairing is actually very, very interesting, because America will assign their 4 partners, and Europe will not know the 4 partners. So Keegan will say, "This is my first 2," and put in a blind ballot, and then Europe will say, "These are my first 2," and that's who gets matched up against each other. So which I always was wondering how that worked. Like how do they know that this partnership is playing against the other partnership? It is purely based off of, this is who I want in the first tee, because the first shot of the Ryder Cup is like the highest stressful situation in the world. You don't want any of your amateurs. So I guarantee you, whoever goes up there first, like Scotty or or Bryson or someone who's handled the pressure before, but you will not see Ben Griffin teeing off day one, first tee box, guaranteed. So very interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. And then the weekend we have the singles is
Singles,
the
yeah.
final part.
Yep, it's just one-on-one. Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember, are they paired? Is it still 4 per group, or is it just 2 per group for that?
2 per group.
2 per group. Okay.
And I think it's the same thing where they just, this is who I want off first, and then Europe says this is who I want off first, so they won't really know.
Yeah, it's like they assign numbers to each player, and
Correct.
you don't know until you get to the first tee box.
Yeah, which is wild, because you could have like Scotty up against like Hogard or something like that, or Ben Griffin going against Rory McIlroy. Like it's. And I think what else is very important, and you'll see, is how fast a player will concede a putt is very important. Like the beginning of these matches, they'll be friendly. Like where if it's a 5-foot putt, they'll just, okay, it's good. And then towards the end of the match, when you're 4 down, 3 down, 2 down, you got to put everything out. But if they start making people putt everything out in the first 3 holes, then it gets nasty. It gets nasty between the teams. So, or if like Europe's down by 4 or 5 points going the last day, there will be no conceded putts anywhere. So pretty wild.
Interesting. So I didn't even realize that was an option to concede the putt.
Yeah.
So that goes back to kind of like being similar to TGL, where I've seen them do that.
Yep.
And I guess that's the only form of team-based golf I've ever seen for real.
Yep.
So there's not, you don't actually have to make the putt every time, right? You can just
imagine you're out there playing with your buddies and you're like, hey, that's good. Same thing.
Yep. But my buddies know for me that that's never the case. So they're like, go ahead and hit that 4 more times.
Yeah.
I'm sorry your friends are so mean to you.
I'm kidding. I actually think putting is the best part of my game, but that is fascinating to me. Okay, so there's a little bit of player discretion involved in some of this.
Yeah, actually, there's actually a technique where if you're so far behind that you just give them the putt, because you're already going to lose the hole, and you don't want them to hear the ball hit the bottom of the cup, so that maybe they'll miss it the next time. So they'll just, if you've already lost the hole, don't putt that out, please, because I don't want you to hear the crowd roar and throw that hit the bottom of the cup.
Okay, some psychology.
Yeah.
So that was the type of matches. I think it's also important to just briefly touch on the scoring, right? So essentially, from my understanding, each match is worth 1 point. You can have matches so you can get half points. I think that's kind of what, Andrew, when you were referring to, if someone gets 14.5, for example, they have to win. But that's basically what the goal is. The first team to reach 14.5 points will win. And then that, we already talked about it for the sports term of the week. If it gets tied at the very end, the defending champ, which is Europe, will win. So we hope that it doesn't get to that.
Do you guys I'm
Um,
gonna stop you real
yeah,
quick
yeah,
though. Do you know
go
how to
ahead.
break that down like into more detail? So like, for example, for foursomes, it's two teammates against the other team's two teammates. And if I recall, there's 8 people that play in that event, right? So
Mhm.
there'd be like 4 pairings for Team USA, 4 pairings for Europe. Does that mean it's like there are 4 points available from the
In the
foursomes then?
morning.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
4 in the
okay.
morning, 4 in the evening, 4 in the morning on Saturday, 4 in the evening
Got it. Okay,
on
that makes the
Saturday, and
math
then
make more sense. And then
yep,
12 on Sunday when all
12
12
on
singles
Sunday.
play. Okay.
Correct. Yep.
Nice, dude. That's gonna be super fun to watch.
Yeah. Which is why, like, a 4-point lead after day 1 is, like, massive. I don't even know how that I guess it's still possible 6 and 2. Like, it's a like, if there's anything more than a 2-point lead after day 1, it's a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, there was one thing that I do want to mention, which is the envelope rule. And I know, Andrew, you sent this, I believe. It was you, I believe, in
Yeah.
the group
Mhm.
chat that sent it. So do you want to talk a little bit about what that is? Because I'd never heard of that. And I thought that was super interesting.
Yeah, neither have I, and it happened to pop up on my social media, but at the beginning of the week, uh the each team captain submits a name in an envelope, and it's for if a player gets injured on the other team, um, then that it's pretty much your sacrifice of a player. Who are you going to give up that can't play on that last day? Which is really wild to me. That and it's happened twice. The video, there was some guy from America in the '80s that was like full on taped up from waist to chest and played Saturday and played through it, and then by Sunday he couldn't move. So the European player couldn't play the next day. Yeah, and I believe they call it. I think it's a tie, right? So that's a tied match, and each team gets a half point. Pretty wild.
Hmm. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So hey, real quick, we'll just do the Team America here. Who do you think is in the envelope? Is it Sam Burns then, or what do you guys think?
I already know what mine is.
Ben
Ben
Griffin?
Griffin.
Yeah.
Yep, Ben
Yeah.
Griffin for me.
I don't know. Cam Young, maybe?
He's been hot at the end of the
Yeah.
year though, man. He's been
He
hot.
was qualifying for the
I
U.S.
guess.
Open
Yeah.
6
That is
months ago. He
crazy.
wasn't even in the U.S. Open, and now he's in the Ryder Cup. I mean,
That
what's
is
going on?
crazy to think about.
Yeah.
I could see Sam Burns or Cam Young. Those would be my two. But
Yeah, that's a crazy rule. So yeah, I guess the premise of that is you have to write down the person you think sucks the most on your team in an envelope.
Yeah.
Sucks to
Well.
be that guy if that envelope ever gets opened.
I wonder how much thinking Keegan's doing on that. Is he like grinding over that for like a day or two, or is it just like, this is who it is?
Makes you
The last person I called was Sam, so I guess I'm putting him.
He put it in
Uh,
a randomizer.
Yeah.
Whoever it picks.
Comes out with Scotty.
Oh no. I would say he probably only puts the captain's picks maybe in the randomizer, to be fair.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we're gonna do quickly. We're gonna go through a course and matchup preview. So a lot of this in the beginning is going to be about the actual course. So just to give people an idea, they are playing at Bethpage Black in Farmingdale, New York. I can show. I'm going to show an image after I talk a little bit about the course, but it is, according to what I found online, a par 70 course, about 7,352 yards, brutally difficult with thick, rough, deep bunkers and small POA Anua greens. So the greens are made of, this is our agronomy. So a nice word that I learned in the last year or two about the actual, what's contained in the course. The greens are POA Anua. Apparently that's a type of grass. The fairways are POA rye mix. The rough is rye bluegrass and fescue. It's long and difficult, as I mentioned there. Some recent adjustments that they made to the course. There's a new first tee that's built for the Ryder Cup grandstands, so we'll see that upon the very first tee off on Friday. They widened the fairways on a couple of different holes, such as 6, 7, 10, 11, and 13. Did a little bit of bunker tweaks. And some of the signature holes you can look out for are number 4, pretty demanding tee shot. 13, it's a reachable par 5, potentially a birdie swing hole. And then 14, which is a short par 3 with some dangerous pin placements. So what type of player plays well or has a good chance here? Generally accurate drivers and strong iron play. I know that sounds very generic, but That's that's the name of the game. Essentially, the rough is going to penalize you here. So similar to some of the other, similar to like our U.S. Open where we talk about the rough and how challenging that is. And on hole number 1 and 18, those grandstands are going to be crazy. There's going to be a ton of noise. The fans are going to be going wiling out. There's going to be a lot of pressure, especially when you're teeing off and putting. So that's kind of generally what people can look for. I do want to show a quick picture. And Andrew, I'm glad you brought this up. This is essentially, what is it, a sign at Bethpage
Yep.
Black, right?
It's on the porch behind the first tee box. Yeah.
Yeah. Here is the sign, just so that people know what they're looking at. It says, "Warning, the black course is an extremely difficult course which we recommend only for highly skilled golfers."
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what people have to look forward
Yep.
to this coming
Yep.
And to
weekend.
touch a little further on what you were saying too, they have played 2 US Opens here too. You have to keep that
Yep.
in mind.
Yep.
I believe it was 02 and 09, if I'm not mistaken.
Was
Somewhere.
there a what was the one where Brooks won? Wasn't that a recent one? Was that a New York course? That wasn't Bethpage, was it? You guys remember?
Where he won the PGA Championship, you're saying?
Yeah.
Winged Foot? Is that where he won?
Okay.
I could be wrong.
I don't know why
Could
I
be
was
way
thinking.
off base on that. That
I
is a
was
total
thinking
guess.
New York. It's a New York course, I believe.
Yeah, and that is a New York course.
Okay.
But one thing about this too is it's very there's rumors, which I think are true, that the captain can ask the agronomy team to change the course how they want it to advantage of their own players. So in Europe, last year, in France, I can't remember the name of the course. Luke Donald pretty much said that the right side of every fairway he wants deeper rough than the left side,
Wow.
because America would tail off more to the right versus the left. I've not heard too much about what it'll come out later, but I think that they don't want to make this course very harder than it needs to be. It's not like a U.S. Open where you're trying to have players shoot over par. You want electricity, you want birdies, you want eagles, you want some of the greatest shots ever.
Yeah.
So the greens will still run fast, but they'll be soft. So you'll be able to spin them back. You'll get to see plenty of birdies and eagles because this is traditionally one of the hardest golf courses in America. I think it is the hardest public golf course in America.
Mhm.
But they'll soften it up, make it easy. They also move that first tee up, and I saw a video today that like Bryson was trying to drive the green on number 1. Can you imagine? If he steps up first, he's the first person to tee off, and he just goes over the trees on this par 4 and lands it maybe just short of the green or on the green. I mean, all of America the grandstands would fall apart. That would be amazing. I hope he does it. I don't think he's going to, but who knows? He's crazy enough to try it.
With a
So-
bald eagle flying overhead,
Right. Just,
screeching.
Yep.
Fireworks.
Yep. And I also heard that on 17, there's a huge Jumbotron that's the size of the Dallas Cowboys Jumbotron inside the
Really?
stadium. That
Wow.
big. So I'm really excited to see a drone shot of that. From there's been some guys that have been there and they were taking pictures of it and stuff. So that should be
Wow.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Well, anything to do with the Dallas Cowboys is bad news, so hopefully that's not.
Yeah, they got a nice building. I mean, I could say that, right?
That's fair. Yeah.
Hell of a stadium. Hell of a stadium.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
All
Doesn't
right, you
matter who
guys
plays there.
ready for some interactive segments where
Let's go.
you're going to give your takes on what you think is going to happen this coming weekend?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Captain's Hot Seat is what we're going to call this one. All right, so we have 3 different segments. So we're going to start with the first, which is this or that. So guys, this segment is basically us giving you 2 different things and you let us know which you believe is more likely to happen and why, if you have a little bit of rationale. So Scott and I will just kind of go back and forth and we'll ask each of you. So maybe Scott, if you want to ask Andrew and I can ask Trent, and I can go ahead and kick it off here with a this or that. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, Trent. Who is more likely to flop, Bryson or Rahm?
It's not fair. They're both live players. Shame on you. I'd have to say, I and listen, it's not because I like John Rahm better, but Bryson runs his mouth too much sometimes. I think he probably has a slightly higher percentage to flop than John Rahm.
Wow. Okay.
Let me.
Hot take.
I do want to
But
interject
that
here.
doesn't mean Rahm's going to play good. Let me clear that up. Okay.
I do want to interject here. I like getting the rationale from the question from who we ask it from, but I'm curious if you just want to name a name, Andrew, and we can kind of follow that format.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who do you think is more likely to flop?
Rahm.
Okay, there we go. All right, Andrew, next question. What's more likely to happen? Team USA winning by 5+ points or Team Europe winning by 5+ points?
Europe. Europe by 5 points. I'm just going to say it.
Oh.
Yeah. I think we squeak out the win if we win.
Trent, what are your thoughts?
USA.
I know.
All right. We're on opposite sides here so far. All right, Trent. What's more likely, Rory McIlroy is Europe's MVP or Scotty Scheffler is USA's MVP?
Scotty.
Any reason why?
He's the number one golfer in the world. Facts.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Andrew, just a name?
Scotty.
Yeah, I would agree with that one.
Okay. We got an agreement.
All right, Andrew, what's more likely to happen? A captain's pick ends up being an MVP or a captain's pick ends up being the weakest link?
I think a captain's pick being the MVP. I think that some of these auto qualifiers are just qualified because they racked up the points, but they're going to be rookies. So I think that means that they're more likely to be a weakest link. Or some of these stroke play guys are really terrible at match play. So I'm going to say that a captain's pick, that's the reason why they picked them, is because they think that they can be an MVP.
I like it. You agree,
think,
Trent?
I think Andrew hit the nail on the head. I agree with that for sure.
All right. We're back to agreeance. Trent, Europe wins because of foursome or alternate shot dominance, or US wins because of singles dominance.
Singles dominance.
You agree,
Okay.
Andrew? It looks like you're
Same.
nodding your head. Yep.
Yeah, that has to be it. Yep.
Kind of
Ooh,
heard
That's our win condition. I would say.
Yeah, that's the best. That's the trump card we have, or the winning card there. Or trump card would work too, I guess. But yeah, that's our ace in the hole. Is who cares how much we're down by? Yeah.
I love this last question. So, Andrew, we'll start with you here. But what's more likely? Justin Thomas silences the critics with clutch wins, or he struggles and goes winless?
Silences the critics with clutch wins.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think he doesn't play bad here. Jordan's not here, so maybe that'll change. But even during singles, he's out of this world. Good.
All
Trent's
right.
nodding his head. I see. You agree with that?
Yes.
I was going to say I saw a thumbs up.
I'm not the biggest JT fan outside of the Ryder Cup and President's Cup, but that man is an electric factory. Brings the energy we need.
Yeah.
I saw him on a bus, I think, or maybe on a plane, but I think it was on a bus where he was like doing some dances down the aisle earlier today, or maybe earlier this week. And I was like, okay, this guy's got some personality. I love it.
I think that may have been for the President's Cup when they won.
Okay.
They were all dancing in the bus with Jim Furyk, who also broke out in a dance, which was hilarious. So, yeah.
Oh, Mike. All right. Well, that was the this or that segment. So let us know what your thoughts. Did you guys agree with Trent and Andrew, or do you not agree with them? Let us know your thoughts. You ready for the second segment, gentlemen?
Always.
All right. So segment number 2 is overreaction or spot on. So for this segment, Scott and I will read some hot takes that we found online, and we want you to decide, is it an overreaction or is it spot on? And you can kind of give some rationale to your thoughts as well. So I think I started the last one. So Scott, how about you ask Trent this time, and then I'll ask Andrew this time. You want to go ahead? You want to go ahead and start this one?
I sure will. So Trent, this is Rob Lee on Twitter. They said, this might be unfair. I've always had the feeling the Ryder Cup means more to the European players than it does to the American players. Add to that the fact that American players are getting paid. They're getting money up front. We don't want any money. So what do you think? Is this just a hot take, or do you is this an overreaction, or did they get it right?
I don't think I disagree with this statement, but I don't know. Yeah, I think the Ryder Cup probably does mean more to the Europeans. Yeah, I would. I've always kind of had that feeling, which is probably why they've fucking smoked us all those years. So I don't know. I'd say that's pretty spot on.
Agree, Andrew?
You have any thoughts?
Yeah, it's so hard. I think it helps when Europe's won so recently, and you see them like in tears when they win. So they look like they care a lot more because we just haven't done as much winning lately. But I think the whole paying the players, I think it's dumb. That part of this quote is definitely just trying to rile some people up. But the other thing too is I guess the Americans get to play Presidents Cup and Ryder Cup. The Europeans only get to play the Ryder Cup. There's also the Walker Cup, which is a amateur cup that a lot of these players play in as amateurs. It was like a month ago. That's the same kind of deal, which is almost as intense as the Ryder Cup. So, yeah.
We won that, by the way.
We did win that at one of the coolest golf courses in the world, Cypress Point.
That was so sick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like playing at the Masters. Pretty cool.
Nice.
All right. You ready, Andrew? I got the one teed up for you here. So Ben Griffin enthusiast on X said Keegan should play.
I think I covered that earlier. I don't want him playing and captaining or being a captain at the same time. I think he should play. I think he should have gave up his captain seat. Played. Be a captain in 2 years. What's the big deal? You got all these assistant captains with some with experience. Just make Jim Furyk the captain and go play. I mean, it's been his dream. He cried 2 years ago when he didn't make the team. He had his Ryder Cup bag still packed from like 2019. It's still packed. He hasn't unpacked it because he's not played in one yet. So I think he should play. Yeah.
What do you think, Trent?
Yep, I think like he said, we touched on it earlier. I think if you were going to play, I think I would say the same. Like, definitely don't want him being the captain, but yes, I would prefer he played and not captained.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. From the same source, Ben Griffin enthusiast on Twitter says Patrick Reed should make the team. Trent, what are your thoughts on that?
Sensitive subject.
He's live, right? He's live, right?
Yeah, he is. But I think his record at a Ryder Cup is like 7-3 overall or something like that. So you tell me. I don't know. Yeah, he should probably be there. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay. What do you think, Andrew?
I mean, I think if he was on the PGA Tour, he'd be an automatic qualifier potentially. I think he performed that well in all the majors. He also had that holdout eagle in the Masters. I just don't know why that's come back to me, or double eagle. I can't remember, but
yep.
He's like the European team would latch on to all the drama that he'd bring with him. So that's why you don't pick him. He's not good for the team. He may be great, and he may have been buddies with all the players whenever he went 7-3. He's not buddies with these guys anymore besides Bryson. So
fair.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew. Wildcat Jimmy on X said Brandel, the announcer, stirring up crap again. Bryson is the best player on the U.S. team besides Scotty. Drop the gloves this week, Chambly. It's the Ryder Cup.
Yeah, I don't know what the original quote is from Chambly. I actually don't hate him as much now that I heard a couple podcasts with him. He's really smart about golf, but I don't think you need to bring in the smarts of how a player plays in the Ryder Cup, like in terms of, he can do 4 different kinds of shot shapes and all this crazy, like that doesn't matter for the Master. For the Ryder Cup, Master, sure. So yeah, Brandel's going to stir up crap, and I think he's just stating a fact that that's what Chambly does.
He made a comment. Go ahead.
I was going to say he called DeChambeau a circus barker.
Oh, okay, that's a little different. I didn't catch that one. I don't know how I missed that. A circus barker?
He said he would be
Okay.
chirping the whole time, basically. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I got no problem with that. I mean, he should be chirping, if he's the second best player out there, which I think he is.
Yeah, and then it
I
sounds
think
like
he is.
the other thing that Chambly said was that I think the only way he gets attention is by mentioning other people. That is basically what I think of that. To get attention, he will mention me or Scotty or oh wait, no, Rory said that. Rory said that.
Rory said that,
Sorry,
right? Yeah,
misquoting
I
here.
didn't know that part. Yeah,
But he did say something about him not getting attention, and that he said nobody watches Live is what Chambly said.
yeah.
He's not wrong.
I think if the gods are with us or whatever you want to say, let's somehow Bryson and Rory are that 1-1 or 2-2 or 3-4, whatever matches. If they're on a singles match, that's gonna be electric factory. I mean, the ratings are gonna go through the roof. I don't care if it's a blowout.
They
Um,
should.
That would be
It
fantastic.
should. It should. It would be amazing.
Any other thoughts, Trent?
No.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair. All right, Scott, you got the next one.
All right, Trent. Next one is from Melvin Silver on Twitter. He said, "Always take the odds when betting the Ryder Cup." You think that's an overreaction, or is that spot on?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I haven't checked any betting lines or anything, so I don't know. But I would assume the odds are usually with the home team, if I had to guess, unless it's still Europe's favor because of previous victories. I don't know. I would assume it usually goes with the home team, and I'm always rooting for the U.S. So
Yeah, U.S. is the favorite. They're minus 150.
Okay.
So
no,
Yeah.
I would take the odds, especially this year.
Yeah, Andrew?
Yeah, overall, America. And I haven't sounded like it this entire podcast. I've called Scott out for that.
This
but
is an American podcast.
This is
after
an
all.
American
That's
podcast,
right.
and we're the favorites. So bet the favorites. If you bet European, then leave. I don't need
Get
you
out
here.
of here!
That's right. I think it is interesting about betting odds whenever they come out with a singles match. I mean, I think betting the favorite makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I don't think underdog commonly beats a favorite. They may make it stretch longer, which I wonder if there's even bets about that. There's got to be, like, how many holes is this match going to last? Like, let's say it's Scotty versus Victor's bad. See, that's the problem. Like Sepp Straka, maybe. I can't even tell you a bad golfer in the European team. But how many holes does that last? It'd be a pretty cool bet if they have that out there. I'm sure they do.
We'll have to find out once every all the matchups and stuff are posted. I got the last one. Nick Grisdala, sorry, on X. On Ben Griffin, he said, "Have a feeling this guy is going to fold up like a lawn chair in the moment of Ryder Cup." What do you think, Andrew?
How convenient comes to me first. Yeah, he's going to fold. Maybe that's the person you don't bet on if he's a favorite. That's what I would go for here. Not to body Ben Griffin, but I just don't think he's made for this. He doesn't look athletic, if we're being honest. I don't find him as an athlete.
What do you think, Trent? Overreaction or spot on?
I hope he proves me wrong.
So do I. I mean, I do.
I really do, but I'm more so on the year page. I don't know if he's actually built for this. I think he had a good season, and that might be it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at all of our players, he probably is the most likely to fold like a lawn chair, right?
Arguably.
Yep.
Maybe.
He may be better than some others when he's hot, right? But he's younger and he's much less experienced, and he also still had inconsistencies. He just got hot at the right time.
Yeah.
And who's a good partner for him? I don't think he's buddy with any of these guys.
Yeah, I don't know the clique he runs around with. I don't.
Wasn't he like an accountant or something? Like
he
3
still
years
is.
ago?
He still is.
Yeah.
He still has a business where he does small business loans as a 20-hour, 30-hour a week job while being a professional golfer. I don't understand this guy. He's like, just in case I fail and I flop everywhere, I'm gonna have this backup option.
That's wild. Well, gentlemen, that was overreaction or spot on. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I know I did. It's just kind of nice to hear reactions to, what's out there on the web. So we'll see what happens with the Ryder Cup. You guys ready for the final segment here? All
Absolutely.
right, so this one is very timely based on some of the questions we just had. DraftKings odds guessing game. So for this segment, DraftKings odds guessing game, Scott and I are going to take turns reading off various bets that are available right now on DraftKings, and you will guess if the odds are over, under, or spot on to the real odds for the scenario. So that's really all you're guessing. It's a pretty simple one here. So, Scott, you want to start this one? You want to read it for Andrew, and then I'll do Trent?
Yeah. So first one here is the outright winner being Europe. Obviously, we know they're underdogs because I just told you that. But are the odds plus 200 or is it something different? What would you put it at?
I would put it at like plus 150.
That is exactly spot on. It's plus 150.
As a total guess. I'll take it. Man,
Yep.
if I'm good at gambling, if I'm that good at gambling, watch out.
All right. Trent, top point scorer for Bryson at plus 600. Do you think it's over, under, or spot on?
I would bet it's probably more like plus 150 or 110. Maybe or no, I don't know. I don't do betting, so I really don't. I'm not big on the numbers thing, so I don't really know.
So the odds are plus 850.
Oh.
So plus 600 was not the right answer.
No, better odds.
Yeah. I will tell you.
That's actually something I might look into.
Well, I will tell you because
Yeah.
I just have the
That is
website
something.
up right now. Other people must have had the same thought as you today, Deeb, because those numbers have gone down now.
Oh,
So
wow.
as of the exact moment of right now, he's plus 475. So people must have been betting a lot on him.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is a huge,
that's a big shift.
It's a huge
I was
line
going to say
shift.
plus 850 seemed like pretty high.
Yeah. This was of last night. So
Yeah,
Well,
he
the
must have
snack
received
talk
a lot of
was
dollars today. It's because of what's that dude's name? Shambly. Shambly got a lot of
Yeah.
people hot.
Moving lines.
Moving
Yeah.
lines, dude.
That's right.
Oh my God. All right, you got the next one, Scott?
Yep. Next one here is the top debutant scorer. So obviously debut player. Russell Henley, odds of plus 190. And that's for you, Andrew.
I'm going, and is that just for the United States, or is that? I guess there's only one in Europe.
Yeah, I think that's just
So,
any debut player.
Which would be Russell Henley, Cameron Young, JJ Spawn. JJ Spawn's got to be the favorite for that, right?
I don't know.
I'm saying that's spot on. That's spot on.
Damn near. It's plus 200.
Plus 200 right now, or was it? I mean, has it
actually,
shifted
hold on.
since last night?
It did shift. It did shift. It's actually
Damn.
It's plus 160 now. Actually, he's even more of a favorite.
Oh.
Ironically, JJ Spawn is the least likely to be the top debutant. He's plus 370. So maybe you go make that bet if that's how you feel, because he's going to pay you some more money.
And you're just going to make me throw out all these bets tonight and I'm going to be poor by Monday morning.
I was going to say my bets or my things are all probably outdated from last night. So apologize for that.
There's probably a bunch of money going into the Ryder Cup, and I think every day we get closer, these lines will move a little bit. So maybe worth noting that it's Tuesday night as of time of recording. So this all could be different when you are listening to this podcast.
Yep.
All right. I have it pulled up now, so I guess I can fact check myself. Trent, top 3 total point scorer for Scotty Scheffler at plus 140. What do you think of that?
Top 3 total points scorer. Say spot on.
So as of last night, it was spot on. I just checked, and it's plus 120 now. So it looks like it's changed slightly, but it was spot on when I checked it. So I'll give you the credit for it.
It gets so interesting with betting on this because you don't know if he's going to play all 4 matches.
Yeah.
You're assuming he's going to play all 4 matches, him and Bryson, and that's probably it out of America. But that's the thing. If like Scotty goes 0-2 Friday, then he's not going to play both matches on Saturday. So it's very, very interesting.
Yeah. Makes it tough to bet on something like that.
Yep.
All right, next one here is the tournament foursome winner. Are we thinking USA or Europe? Are the odds correct for USA to be plus 130 as of last night?
I think it's probably closer to plus 160.
As of last night, it actually was plus 115. So the odds makers had it pretty tight. I don't know if you have an update on that one,
Wow.
Deeb. I haven't looked for it.
I'm looking here. Which one was it again?
The top foursome score.
Tournament foursome winner, United
Oh.
States.
Wow, it's minus 105 now.
Wow.
You know what that
Incredible.
is? That's a bunch of homers.
It's all the money.
That's a bunch of
Yeah, it's
homers
all the
just
money.
pouring money onto the United States.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're
Which, hell yeah.
European visiting America, I mean, you're getting all the odds. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, not to go against the quote we had earlier, but I mean, it's making me want to bet for Europe and then pull for America, so then I won't be disappointed.
True. Especially in the foursome, right? Because you guys were saying that historically they're kind of the better country for that, or better continent in this case.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's that crazy. A whole continent's against one country.
All right, last one for you, Trent. Lead after day 2, Europe plus 115.
I would say that's got to be probably a little high. Like, I don't know, is it probably like minus 105 or something? I don't know. That means it's like, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I would say it's probably like not that favorable.
So this one is actually, it's plus 145. So it's actually a little higher than what, and I just checked it and it is still that. So it's plus 145 as of today.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a lot of money on Team USA.
Yeah. Also a very specific bet. Lead after day 2.
Yeah, and if there are people out there who don't ever bet or understand these lines, basically Vegas always wins, right? Like that is the core thing to betting, right? So if someone's line is plus 130 and a bunch of people put a bunch of money onto it, then that number will decrease. It'll go down to plus 115, 110, maybe become minus 105. So wherever the money goes, the odds go in the opposite side's favor. So this is just where the money is flowing right now, where people are saying they think people are going to win.
All right. So that is it for the interactive segment for DraftKings odd guessing game. So again, hopefully you guys got a little bit of enjoyment out of that. I know the odds were a little bit off, but we got through and were able to give you some updated numbers. We're going to move into the halftime pour. So I know you gentlemen are very familiar with the halftime pour. We're going to do a little bit of a different version of it. So obviously, we love to drink bourbon. I don't think we need to go through all of the details and, what we're drinking and our score and all that Scott and I usually do. So we're just going to do a, quick cheers, and I'm going to ask you guys a question of the night, and we'll take it from there. So for tonight, gentlemen, if you were the captain for either of the Ryder Cup teams, what general criteria would you use for your captain's picks? So you can kick it off, whoever's ready to go.
I want to hear Scott. What's Scott got? What you got?
My immediate thought to this question, as someone who has no experience at all with any of this, would be for the captain's picks. In my opinion, I would want to add at least half of my picks would be adding experience, because you're going to have the most successful golfers of the year with the automatic picks. So give me experience with at least half of my picks. And then with the other half, it either is going to be another balance of experience or just riding. If there's a really hot hand at the end of the season, then I'm riding that hot hand and hoping to pair that with experience to keep the moment smaller than it really is.
Yeah, that is what I'm going to say exactly. I really think that is exactly how I would do it. History first. Likelihood to trust them to make a 10-foot putt on 18 to win the overall Ryder Cup. And that's probably the two things I would do. Yeah, I mean, the problem this year is you can't have those awesome pairs like Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, because Jordan is playing terrible. Yeah, that's I would look for that if I could. And then I would just go based off of who I would want the Ryder Cup to be on the line with.
What do you got, Trent?
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
It was, if you're the captain for either of the Ryder Cup teams, what criteria would you use to pick your captain's picks?
I think a big thing that a lot of, I think, and I feel like Andrew touched on this pretty well, is like, I think we got a bunch of captains picks that don't have any synergy. I think that's a big thing, is guys that gel well in the four ball. You obviously have, I think it's completely up in the air who they're going to pair together. I mean, other than Schauffele and Cantlay, I think we know they're probably a pretty good duo. But yeah, I don't really know, like, who's in whose click with our guys, and I feel like that would be a big thing, is find some guys that mesh well together, and in hopes also that it's as far as like that's your next available talent too. Like I there's a very, I feel like, steep drop off from our auto guys to like some of our captain's picks this year, and that would be like, I would want as much talented as I can get with synergy at the same time.
Yeah,
That's
that's fair. Yeah, I mean, I think synergy, chemistry, talent, all those things are important. The hardest part is just not knowing, in terms of the pairings, right? Like that probably plays into it as well. But that's further down the line. When we're talking about prior to this, I'm thinking 10 steps ahead. When you're actually going to be picking who's on the team, man, some of it's got to be like who's got the hot hand, who has experience. Who do you think can fire up the team? Maybe who can play with their back against the wall? I don't know. I'm just trying to think of like other traits who's shown some resilience in some of these tournaments throughout the year. So I think you guys kind of definitely hit it spot on with that.
Yeah, I mean, if I could
Um,
embody the personality that I would want on my team here, it would be Scotty Scheffler. Like, not just his success, but just the way he composes and carries himself, which it sounds like he hasn't always been that way. But like when you watch him play golf, you can just tell that there's something different about him, that he always feels like he's in it, even if he's further behind. And I think
Yeah.
that's the mentality I would go after. But certainly, I would go after some of these other things that we mentioned already too.
Yep. It's time for some picks, golf edition, Ryder Cup edition. So I think we're going to try to do this one. I know we use this term sometimes, rapid fire, but I just really want to hear from you guys who your pick is. You don't really have to have any rationale behind it. We have about 9 different categories. We just want you to name who you think fits that. So, Scott, you want to just maybe go back and forth, and we can just get these picks from the guys?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I'll start. I'll ask the first one, and then we'll
Okay.
go from there.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna ask both of you, but I'll go Andrew first. Top point scorer, the overall MVP of the whole event. Andrew, who do you got?
Scotty Scheffler.
Okay, Trent.
Scotty Scheffler.
All right. Team USA's MVP. Who do you have, Trent?
Bryson DeChambeau.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. Andrew?
Give me Russell Henley.
Wow. All right.
All right, Andrew. Team Europe's MVP.
Trent's favorite, Tommy Fleetwood.
Okay, Trent.
I'm going against like everything I say. Tyrrell Hatton.
Ooh, okay.
Spicy.
Breakout rookie. Andrew, who you have?
Give me Rasmus Højgaard.
Okay. Trent?
JJ Spawn.
Nice.
Okay.
All right, Andrew. Who's the most important captain's pick?
Ben Griffin, that he doesn't fail.
All right, Trent.
That's fair.
I would say, and this is a little, I mean, kind of opposite side of the spectrum, but Patrick Cantlay. We need Patrick Cantlay to be Patrick Cantlay, and I think that is big as far as like captain's picks go, because arguably, I feel like any other year he probably would have been an automatic bid. So you need Patrick Cantlay to play like Patrick Cantlay does in these team style events.
Hell yeah. Hey, give me Cam Young for me. That's mine.
And
Love
biggest disappointment, Trent.
Rory McIlroy.
Wow. Okay, Andrew.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Rory McIlroy.
Oh my God.
USA. USA.
USA. That's right. Right.
I love it.
Jeez.
All right, Andrew, who's the most likely player for a clutch moment?
Yeah, it's got to be Scotty Scheffler. I mean, that's my brain. My heart would love to do like a crazy pick, but Scotty Scheffler's the answer to that.
I see Trent bowing down. Trent, you agree with that?
Yes.
Hey, all I'm going to
Scotty,
say,
for sure.
all I'm going to say is after that major win, JJ, I mean, but-
JJ's had plenty of big moments this year, and Bryson's also good for big moments. It's going to be a United States citizen. That's all I can tell you.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
All right.
No passports here.
So you guys will
That's
like
right.
this one then. Crowd hero, Andrew.
I mean, me and Trent are going to agree on this one. It has to be Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, the social media darling, the one was hated 8 years ago to being every kid, dad, granddad's favorite in America. So, yeah, Bryson.
We need him to be that Energizer Bunny, and while winning like all of his matches, that would be fantastic.
hell yeah.
Hey,
Last
Scott,
question
you got the
here.
last one, right?
Yeah. Andrew, final score prediction.
I have to do some math here.
Yeah, 28 total points.
Yeah, so give me a 17.5. That'd be a blowout. That'd be big. No, let me give you 16.5 for United States, and then what that would leave with 13.5 for. Is that right?
Maybe 11.5.
No. Thank you. Wow. Yep, 11.5. There we go. Yeah, that would be a blowout. Let's go for it.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Trent, what about you?
I'm going to keep it full numbers, 15-13 in favor of the boys.
Okay.
Wow.
Hey,
What about you, Deeb? What you got? What y'all got?
Oh,
that one.
I have 14.5. What would that leave?
13.5.
13.5. USA.
1 point win.
Yeah.
That was going to be my cop-out answer, but just to be different, here's what I got for you guys. You ready for this one?
Uh-oh.
Here's mine. It's going to be 17-11.
Oh.
Or
That would be.
United States. Let's go.
Yeah, let's clarify. I know. Yeah. I'm about to say we got to flash up the European
Oh, my
flag in a
God.
second. A little EU flag.
Nah, listen, I love Rory, but I'm not going to be doing all that.